Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here as we begin the playoffs for Season 2 of the NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series. Getting ready to go racing here tonight in race number 27, playoff race number 1, and the first race of the first round of the playoffs here with our round of 16 at Coca-Cola Superspeedway under the lights here this evening for 40 laps of racing. The running of the Coke Zero Sugar 400 about to get underway. Talk about a track and a race for a wild card race to start off this first round of the playoffs, because no doubt about it, this is going to have all the characteristics of a super speedway race, 3 wide, maybe 4 wide, all the way through the field. You've got the possibility of the big one looming, and if any of our 16 playoff contenders get caught up in the big one, should it take place here tonight, they could find themselves into a bit of a hole heading into 2 very challenging tracks in this round that are coming up in the next 2 weeks. Charlotte Roval next week, and Indianapolis, our first elimination race. But again, another thing that could happen too is we could have one of our 16 playoff contenders take the checkered flag here tonight. If they do that, they go into Charlotte Roval, they go into Indianapolis, knowing that no matter what happens in those 2 races, they will be taking part in the second round of the playoffs, the round of 12. So there's an upside and there's a downside to having this particular race, this particular racetrack as the first stop of the playoffs. Last year, we were at Chicagoland for our first race of the first round, and it turned out to be a wreck fest. So I said, nope, not coming back there. We scrapped it, and we are here at Coca-Cola, which this is kind of ironic too, because if you think about it, this is actually only the second super speedway these drivers have been at this season. Which one was the first? It was the very first race of the season, the Daytona 500. Since then, we have not had a super speedway on the schedule, and we've got 2 of them here in the playoffs. Armory Digital will be race number 34 later on this year. On the front row for today's race, though, is going to be a couple of drivers that did not make the playoffs. Jessica Shelton still looking for her first win of season 2. A super speedway qualifying machine. If you've ever raced with her online, you think you get yourself a good qualifying lap, and then she bests you by about 1 to 2 tenths. But she starts on the pole here tonight for this super speedway race as well, alongside of her Jose Mills. Jose Mills last season had 4 victories. He struggled to try and stay in the top 30 in the point stands. He did manage to do so. However, this season, an early win at Bristol, could not stay in the top 30 in the points. He comes into this race 34th in the standings, so that win at Bristol did not count towards a playoff spot, and so he did not make the playoffs for the second straight year. So now his goal, just to go out there, win as many races as he possibly can. Highest starting playoff contender looks like it's going to be from the 4th position. That's going to be Jose Mills' teammate Jordan Lopez in the 38, who, remember, one of his career wins came at a super speedway last season at Talladega. Next highest starting playoff contender is Benjamin Miles. He's going to be rolling off from the inside of row 3 in the 5th position. He's a 2-time winner this season, winning at Charlotte and also winning at the road course. He didn't win at the road course. He won at Kentucky. And so we'll see what his super speedway series prowess is here this evening. Let's go down trackside. Let's get those most famous words in motorsports as we're getting set to go racing here for the first green flag of the playoffs in Season 2.
Drivers, start your engines!
As the pace car will lead the field off of pit road, you can check the right side of your screen. It will show you your starting lineup for today's race, and it's going to be very easy to give you guys what the playoff standings look like coming into this race, because this is the first race with the reformatted points after last week's incredible race at Auto Club. A lot of good racing, a lot of 3 wide, 4 wide at Auto Club. We ended up having a first-time winner and a rookie in Casey Nanico. However, the 16 drivers that headed into that race in the 16 playoff positions left Auto Club in the 16 playoff positions. So nobody pulled a shot clock cheese, a last-minute move into the playoffs, and we now have our grid all set. So right now, you've got a 4-way tie at the top of the leaderboard. That would be between your 2-time winners, Benjamin Miles, Carson Gum, Cody Lamas, and Michael Norman. And then everybody else is 5 points back that have 1 win this season. Carter Friesen, Matt McIntyre, Ryan Brommer, Jordan Lopez, Ryan Acosta, Zach Rogers, Dylan Young, Jesse Turner, Cole Baker, Trey Wright, Johnny Gardner, and Levi McIntyre got the final spot. For some of these drivers, they were in the playoffs for the second straight year. Carson Gum, Carter Friesen, I believe Zach Rogers, Jordan Lopez, and Jesse Turner. I believe those are the drivers. Those 5 are in the playoffs for the second straight year. The other 11 in for the first time in their Duracell Cup Series careers. The highest to finish in the points last season, Carter Friesen. He finished 1 point behind Chris Dollerton for the championship at Homestead, Miami. And he is the only one of the Final 4 from last season to make it into the playoffs. Chris Dollerton did not make the playoffs, so we are guaranteed a brand new champion here in the Duracell Cup Series. Jessica Shelton on the bottom, Jose Mills up top. Gonna lead the field down here to green. 40 laps of racing under the lights at Coca-Cola Super Speedway. Green flags in the air, let's roll! See how anxious these drivers are going to be, and it looks like up at front it's going to be very anxious. That's Benjamin Miles, playoff contender down on the bottom. You can tell the playoff drivers as opposed to the drivers that are not battling for the championship. Playoff contenders running that lithium blue spoiler, splitter. Also the rear driver banner is that lithium blue as well. Dylan Young down on the bottom. He's got his teammate Adam Garcia right there with him. Now they're going to go 4 wide as Shelton to the lead. Mills trying to clear into second on that top side. 4 wide there. Dollerton's in the middle of that. Jack Mitchell way up rim riding along with Keith Batson. They got to be careful coming off this corner. They're 5 wide back there with Alexander Rowe. And there they go. Johnny Gardner's around. Someone's going to hit that inside pit wall. Matt McIntyre is spinning. I think it was Casey Nanico who got the inside wall. Corey Williams collected up, making his Duracell Cup Series debut there in the 25 car. That's Matt Haas right there as well in the 8. Nanico, I'm pretty certain, hit that inside pit wall. Matt McIntyre, a lot of damage on that playoff contender. Alexander Rowe collected up as well. Carson Gum, another playoff contender, got a piece. And so did Johnny Gardner. So that's 3 playoff contenders right there involved. Michael Norman, who started this race from dead last. Don't know if he's got any damage on the front of that machine or not. It's kind of hard to tell. It's like he might have gotten through. We'll see from the side angle here. No, looks like he's okay. Jesse Turner also started in the final row with Michael Norman. They started 39th and 40th. Looks like they got through it. It looks like Jessica Shelton led them to the caution, so waiting for the pace car to pick them up. So that is 3 playoff contenders right off the bat that got some damage out of this. Matt McIntyre, Carson Gum, and Johnny Gardner. We're going to have to see how that affects them. For now, let's go back and take a look and see what happened off turn 4. They were 5 wide, and you kind of knew the way that these corners narrow up coming onto the straightaways that probably wasn't going to work. Here's a look at what happened. Our best camera angle coming off the corner here. Looks like there was contact between Johnny Gardner and Casey Nanico. And that sent Gardner down into Matt McIntyre. There you see Jack Mitchell nowhere to go. Cody Lamas way down there on the bottom. Just barely splits the 77 in the inside pit wall. And then, Matt McIntyre back up the track into the driver's side door of his teammate Matthew Rodriguez. Nanico, you don't know if you can see it top of the screen, but he was the one that clobbered that pit wall. I think Matt McIntyre, well, maybe he does get the inside wall as well. Yeah, he does. See Gardner there with that rear end damage. We're going to drop back just a little bit here and take a look at the 77 of Nanico. So I'm pretty sure he went nose first into that safer barrier. Watch right here as directs down towards that yellow line, heading towards pit lane, and there is the wall, and that was the driver's side door. Oh, my goodness. Oh, that is one of the scariest places to hit the edge of a pit wall. Oh, my word. Oh, gracious. I hope Nanico's okay. 1 week after picking up his first win of his Duracell Cup Series career, and all of a sudden, that happens. I want to go back here to the 24 of Alexander Rowe, because I think he was the one that collected up Corey Williams, Carson Gum, and Matt Haas. There you see the 25 there. Corey Williams making his debut for Backmarker Motorsports. Oh, that hit for Nanico. Every time I see that, it makes me cringe. And it was Jack Mitchell who actually went up, got both Williams and Matt Haas, sent Matt Haas down into the wall. And then watch the 25. He's on the brakes, on the brakes, on the brakes. At this point, he's got it missed. And then Alexander Rowe comes flying in and runs into the back of the 25. I think Corey would have gotten through relatively unscathed, and then he almost got hit there by Sebastian Kukulon. I didn't see Carson Gum really get involved. He might have had someone come up into his driver's side door, because I know he had damage. Or did he? Did he get through that? He might have actually gotten through that. Let's watch this. See if he's able to get himself through without any damage at all. I thought I saw him have some left side damage. Just narrowly avoids Nanako. Gets into the back of Kukulon. Not really that hard of an impact there. And then just comes to a stop. No, Carson Gum I don't think got involved in this wreck at all, really. He got into the back of Sebastian Kukulon just a tad. But aside from that, he didn't get any damage at all. So Carson Gum actually missed it. So only 2 of our playoff contenders were involved in this wreck. Matt McIntyre and Johnny Gardner. Let's go back now for the green flag as Jessica Shelton gets ready to get us back underway here at Coca-Cola. Well, these drivers all made pit stops, and we had an issue coming off of pit road. I don't think I've seen this before. We're looking at Benny Watson in the 75. Look who's to his inside. That is Jordan Lopez in the 38. And watch right here. I don't know if Watson had actually beat Lopez off pit road or not, but they both hit each other. They go up the transitional banking. Watson comes back down. His nose goes into the apron and flips the 75 car up and over on its roof. Now, Lopez, I think, got through that. I think he was able to continue. He's got that right side damage, though. I don't think anybody hits him, but look at this. The 75 is still flipping and barrel rolling right in front of Derek Hamill, Trey Wright. Wow. Benny Watson, who last season was in the hunt for the championship, this has definitely not been his year. 24th in points coming to this race, winless. And it looks like he will be DNFing in this race as well. Looks like Levi McIntyre got off the throttle, allowed Jordan Lopez to recover. Little contact back there, though, between Ryan Butcher and Keith Batson, the 39 and the 78. Let's go back now for the green, as that's what happened under pacing after everybody came to pit road. Once the green signal has been given, I have to amend my statement. Not everybody came to pit road. Jessica Shelton gave up the lead to pit, and she will be restarting back in the 15th position. The top 14 drivers, or top 13 actually, I think did not come to pit road. Michael Norman actually, I think, pitted as well. So I think Turner in 12th is the last car that stayed out. So the top 12 drivers stayed out. A number of them are playoff contenders. Benjamin Miles, Dylan Young, Ryan Acosta, your top 3. Ryan Brommer and Zach Rogers also stayed out, along with Carter Friesen, Cole Baker, and Jesse Turner. So about half of our playoff contenders stayed out as the green flag's back in the air here on lap number 6. So we'll see if these drivers now can get into a long green flag run, or will they try 4 and 5 wide in the corners again. Chris Dollerton dives down to the bottom. It'll be Ford on the inside, a Chevy and a Toyota on the top side. Dylan Young going to prevail. Dylan Young getting his first career win at Darlington this season and making his first career playoff appearance. As now Austin LaPlante's going to take them 3 wide. 3 drivers out of the race at this point. Benny Watson we saw with that incident coming off of pit road, and out of the race after the wreck we saw Alexander Rowe and Casey Nanako. Tough break there for Casey Nanako after taking the checkered last week, his first career win at Auto Club, and this week going to suffer a DNF in last place. So 2 of our rookies out of the race early in this one as they got through turn number 4 safely that time. And Dylan Young is going to get a bonus point for leading a lap. So right now he and Miles are the only 2 playoff contenders so far that have led. Want to keep an eye back there on that 11 of Cole Baker. We mentioned that the only super speedway we've been to so far this season, besides tonight, was Daytona, and Cole Baker was the winner of that race. Tough break for Corey Williams there in the 25 car. He's still running, but his debut here in the Duracell Cup Series not starting out the way he wanted, although we will see him back in 2 more races. He'll be at Armory Digital, and we will also see him in 2 weeks at Indianapolis. Johnny Gardner off the pace in that 32nd position. He's hoping and praying that more playoff contenders have some issues, and right now Matt McIntyre would be the furthest down of the playoff drivers. He's 36th right now on track. A lot of front end damage, which is obviously affecting his straightaway speed. Marcus Sacchi sticks his nose in there on Dylan Young and almost hooked the 2 car around. Has got a car up in the wall. That's Cole Baker in the 11, and we got a wreck. They all wrecked trying to avoid the 11 car. Benjamin Miles spun, Ryan Acosta, I think, spun as well. Vince Almriego, Jose Mills. LaPlante's got front end damage. Caution will wave yet again, and that is another playoff driver, Benjamin Miles, in the 33 with some issues here early on. We're racing back to our second caution of the day, and that was all in reaction to Cole Baker getting up into the outside wall. Wow, Dylan Young slammed the wall off turn 4 there as well, as Marcus Sachi's going to lead them down to the caution over Jordan Lopez and James Qualls. So all those drivers that didn't pit under the first caution probably will pit under this second yellow flag, which comes out on lap number 8. Right there's the most notable caught up in that wreck, Benjamin Miles, who was out in front, leading under the last restart. A lot of right side damage on his hurt Chevrolet. He's got a buckle there on the hood as well. Others collected up in this, Vince Almriego, Jose Mills, who started on the outside of the front row for this race. Adam Garcia in the 12 also, I believe, got a piece of it. And I believe that was all the drivers that were basically involved in that one. Of course, Cole Baker pounding the outside wall was what started that wreck off of turn 2. So as the field waits for the pace car to pick him up, we're working our second caution of the evening. Let's go back and see what happened. Yeah, I saw this happen live, and you can see the 11 of Cole Baker's up into the wall. That loses him a lot of momentum. Now watch the 42, his teammate Vince Almriego. They're going to be 6 wide coming off this corner here. But you see Almriego turns the car hard left, trying to make sure that he avoids, and actually he didn't cause the wreck. It was Wyatt Quayle getting up into Jose Mills, who then got up into Benjamin Miles that started the wreck. I thought Almriego triggered it, but he didn't. And there you see Cole Baker gets a piece of that right there with Jose Mills, and Austin LaPlante ran into the back of, I think that was Benjamin Miles. Oh, wow, that's a hit right there. Adam Garcia into the front, 2 shots into the front of Benjamin Miles' Chevrolet, and a near avoidance there for playoff contender Ryan Brommer in the 9. I'd be very concerned if I'm that 33 team with the fact that the impact with Adam Garcia was to the front of the race car. We saw what the front end damage has done to the speed of Matt McIntyre, and I almost wonder if Benjamin Miles might suffer the same fate as well. So if the counter is updated, 3 playoff contenders in the first 10 laps have had some issues here tonight at Coca-Cola, and to be honest, I don't think it's the last of the drivers with the lithium blue playoff banners that are going to get collected in something here this evening. Well, this time I can say it and not have to amend my statement. Everybody came to pit road here under this caution. So, Marcus Sachi came down pit road, the race leader. He left the race leader. He will lead over the 39 of Keith Batson. Second place. Third place is James Qualls. Highest running playoff driver is now Cody Lamas, 2-time winner of the seasons, in 4th. Levi McIntyre, another playoff contender right there, in 5th. Then you got Derek Hamill, William Brock, playoff driver Ryan Acosta, 8th. 9th is Michael Norman, and 10th is Trey Wright. So 5 of our playoff contenders are right now up inside of the top 10. Going to be restarting in 4th, 5th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Nobody out of the race after the incident we just saw. So still out of the race are the cars of Benny Watson, Alexander Rowe, and Casey Nanico. You see Jordan Lopez was 2nd. When we took the caution, he's restarting back in 35th. He actually had some right side damage. They had to stay a little bit longer on pit road to repair. You see Benjamin Miles going to be restarting last of the lead lap cars back in 37th. So we'll see what's going to happen with him. Right now, as things stand, it would be Miles, Lopez, Matt McIntyre, and Cole Baker, who would currently be in the bottom 4 as far as our playoff standings. Green flag back in the air. Look at James Qualls, immediately makes it 3 wide. Going for the lead in turn 1. Levi McIntyre is going to go down there with him. Cody Lamas trying to help Keith Batson in the middle lane, and that lane is not going to move because everybody's going down low. Derek Hamill, Ryan Acosta going down there as well. Been a struggling year for James Qualls. 2 of his teammates, Johnny Gardner, Ryan Acosta, in the playoffs. Qualls dead last in the points as well, and a lot of times we talk about the super speedways, how they seem to cater to the underdog or the driver struggling in points. Well, how much of an underdog story would it be if James Qualls, dead last in points, were able to take the checkered flag here tonight? Keith Batson's also been struggling this year. A winner last season at Richmond, although wasn't able to make the playoffs. He comes into this one currently 26th in points, and he's only got 1 top 5 this season. 4 wide for the lead. That's Trey Wright down on the bottom. Playoff contender from winning this season at Manassas. Last year, he was a winner at Lakewood, but wasn't high enough in the points for a playoff position, so it's his first time in the playoffs this year, and he's going to give way to Carter Friesen, who'll go to the lead. Here comes the pole sitter, Jessica Shelton, back down the bottom. Her teammate's going to put her 4 wide. Charles Sanford has now Michael Norman and Carter Friesen, a couple playoff drivers, going to battle for the race lead. Who's going to get the lap lead? Who's going to get the bonus point? Ooh, that was close back there between Trey Wright and Ryan Acosta. Norman down low, Friesen up high. Bonus point goes to, I think it was Michael Norman. Ticker agrees with me. And Salmariego coming off pit road there in the 42. Extended stay on pit road for him. As now Michael Norman out in front. Dylan Young's going to try and open the door. Here comes that bright green Monster Energy Dodge of Zach Rogers. Both of the Bulldog Motorsports Challengers made it into the playoffs this season. Trying to get Dodge a championship here in the Duracell Cup Series. Speaking of champion, here comes the former champion Chris Dollerton. They're 5 wide again. Now they settle it down to 4 wide. That was Wyatt Quayle that made it 5 wide for a brief moment. There's Carson Gum. Oh, we got a car upside down! Levi McIntyre up and over on the front straightaway. The big one has struck here at Coca-Cola. 3rd caution of the day on lap 15. And the 99 went upside down very quickly, too. And there must have been a number of playoff drivers involved in that one. McIntyre is obviously one of them. Smoke still lingering there on the front straightaway. Mitchell Collins, Charles Sanford, they're on pit road. There is what remains of Levi McIntyre's Ford. Ryan Acosta, another playoff driver. Trey Wright, another playoff driver. Keith Batson's on pit road. Cody Lamas, his day is over. So that's 4 playoff drivers involved up to this point. Looks like Benjamin Miles got a piece of that as well in the 33. A lot more damage on the front of his machine. So that's 5 playoff drivers involved in this one. Jessica Shelton, left side damage on the Pro Pack Chevrolet. Looks like she was involved in it. Our pole sitter. And I can't get over just how quickly the 99 flipped upside down. Normally, a flip happens if someone gets a hard shot and gets T-boned in a wreck. I honestly did not see that happen with Levi. I saw him get turned up the track, and then all of a sudden he was up and over. We're nearing the halfway point of this race, and like I said, I didn't think we'd seen the last of playoff drivers having some struggles here at Coca-Cola. As Michael Norman's going to come to pit road, William Brock rolls some strategy. He stays out. Derek Hamill, Jose Mills, and Jordan Lopez will stay out as well. Pit stops here nearing the halfway point. Let's go back and see what happened. This one was the big one out of turn 4. Here's a look at what happened. Watch the bottom of the racetrack there. The 84 of Cody Lamas, the 10 of Ryan Acosta. Acosta's going to hook Cody in the right rear quarter panel. And just look how quickly that car went upside down. Trey Wright also flipped in the 28. Man, I mean, it was just so tight off that corner. Ryan Acosta and Cody Lamas going down towards that pit wall. Trey Wright still flipping onto pit lane. Look at that. Oh my goodness, he's still flipping. And I don't know if that car comes back on all 4 wheels or not. He's sliding through pit stalls on his roof. Mitchell Collins got damaged in the 22. Keith Batson was involved as he kind of got forced to pit road. The 28 is still flipping. How many times is that car going to flip over? I think Ryan Acosta's car got caught in the pit wall. We'll get another camera angle here to see with the 10 and the 84, the 2 that actually started this wreck. Boy, I cannot get over, first off, just how quickly the 99 flipped over, and then how many times the 28 of Trey Wright was flipping. Watch right here. Oh, okay, there's Charles Sanford. There's Jessica Shelton trapped in the outside line getting involved. Derek Hamill in the 31 might have gotten a piece as well. He at least got into the wall trying to stay on the top side. Now watch as the 84 and the 10, they're both going backwards, but they're heading for that pit wall end. McIntyre still upside down. There's Trey Wright still end over end barrel rolling. And Cody, oh, right there. And they see there Acosta into the back was where his car hit. That's where Cody got all that damage on the hood. He basically hit it with just in front of the right front of that machine. Well, Acosta, Cody Lamas, Trey Wright, Levi McIntyre. That's 4 more playoff contenders with damage in this one, as we are under caution for the 3rd time today, and no doubt about it, Coca-Cola is definitely playing a factor into what the playoffs are going to look like. Now, I know that we've had 3 wrecks here in the first half of this race, but it's been nothing like the wreckfest we had last year at Chicagoland, so at least this is super speedway type wrecks, rather than people just driving like idiots like they did last season in our first playoff race. But no doubt about it, it's going to be very interesting to see who's going to be in those elimination spots when we go to Charlotte Roval next week. And right now, I think we've got some candidates like Trey Wright, Cody Lamas, and Levi McIntyre who undoubtedly will not be able to continue in this race. Garage area begins to pile up now. After our first 2 cautions, there were only 3 drivers out of the race. 4 more drivers have been added to that list. Cody Lamas will finish 34th, Levi McIntyre 35th, Trey Wright in 36th. Not the way they wanted to start out their playoffs, as all 4 of them in the playoffs for the first time in their careers. Charles Sanford also out of the race in 37th. So as things stand right now, you can see the 4 drivers that would be in the bottom positions of the playoffs. Ryan Acosta, Cody Lamas, Levi McIntyre, and Trey Wright. Acosta right now still running on the lead lap in 33rd position. William Brock stayed out, did not come to pit road. He'll be the leader over Derek Hamill, Jose Mills, and Jordan Lopez. They all stayed out. Keith Batson's going to restart in the 5th position. He came to pit road when he tried to avoid the wreck. Came down to close pit road, but he still managed to cycle around to 5th. And Vince Amriego pitted under the last green flag run. He's going to restart in 6th. So good fortune for both those drivers. Mitchell Collins, Chris Daugherty, Michael Norman, and Carson Gum were your top 10. Right now, your highest running playoff drivers, that 38 of Jordan Lopez. Derek Hamill trying to become the 4th rookie to win this season. So far, Alexander Rowe, Cody Lamas, and Casey Nanico have all taken checkered flags. And they are all out of this race right now, too. So the odds of a different rookie going to victory lane is basically 100%. Lopez now to the bottom. Jordan Lopez trying to join the list of drivers that have gotten a lap led as far as playoff contenders. Michael Norman has led a lap. Benjamin Miles has led a lap. Ooh, look out back there. Contact between James Qualls and Zach Rogers. James Qualls got some front-end damage on that 54. I don't know where that came from. I don't know if he ran to the back of someone on pit road or not. That is obviously affecting his speed, and Zach Rogers wanted to get by him in a hurry. Also off the pace is the 2 of Dylan Young. Don't know what's slowing him up. Right now he is in the 23rd position. Benjamin Miles continuing on, right now losing the 27th spot to Matthew Rodriguez. Ryan Acosta right now in 32nd. There's Matt McIntyre in 31st. Which right now would move Matt McIntyre into an elimination spot. Almost had a wreck right there. Keith Basson trying to cut off Ryan Brommer. Brommer stuck his foot in and was not going to remove it. Tell you who I'm really surprised by here. And I was surprised by it before we had that last caution. Johnny Gardner got damage in the first wreck, has that rear end damage, but it apparently has not affected him speed-wise. He's up here in the draft, in the lead pack, and right now inside the top 10. So a great comeback for Johnny Gardner in that 14 car. Up front, teammates. The only 2 Dodgers in the field, running first and second. Ryan Brommer, the Sonoma winner. Zach Rogers, the Kansas winner. Side by side for the race lead. Looks like the damage isn't really affecting James Qualls much either. In the 54, he's up there on that outside line battling hard. Ryan Brommer wants to lead the lap, and then I wonder if he'll give way to teammate Zach Rogers to let him lead a lap, as both of them will try and get themselves bonus points. Rogers now to the inside. I think Brommer's going to get him at the line, but Rogers will probably get the lead over here in turn 1, so maybe some team orders going on here. Very smart if you're going to try and make it into the second round of the playoffs. Ryan Butcher there in the 78. Solid outing for that Gatorade Toyota Camry. Hasn't been to victory lane since last year at Pensacola. Ooh, got a car in the apron. That's Chris Dollerton. That's not a racing line, Chris. And wisely lets everybody by, did not advance his position. So Chris Dollerton avoiding a penalty there, but losing a lot of positions on track as a result. Michael Norman had a turnout in front earlier, trying to get back to the front again. It's like the game plan for the Dodgers is going to work out. Zach Rogers is going to get to lead a lap as well. And now Ryan Brommer is going to go up the middle 3 wide. Look at the playoff blue up here up front. Rogers, Brommer, Friesen, Norman, Turner up there as well in the 47. Brommer's going to hang on to the top spot here. Carter Friesen looking for the lead now as Johnny Gardner was in the wall off turn 2. That's going to lose him the draft potentially. And he was up here, even with a damaged race car, battling inside of the top 10, so now he's got to hope for another caution. Another thing I know, too, is these drivers will probably not be able to make it on fuel. They'll have to make at least one more pit stop. And we have seen in the past, in races we've run at Coca-Cola, coming to pit road be an issue. We've seen a lot of wrecks happen coming to pit lane. How about the Dodgers, though? Ryan Brommer and Zach Rogers, they've been able to hang on to first and second the last couple of laps. Doing a pretty good job controlling the draft. And remember, we mentioned this at the top of the program. If any of our playoff contenders win here today, it's an automatic ticket into the round of 12. They can go into Charlotte Roval, they can go into Indianapolis knowing they will continue on in the playoffs into the next round. Cole Baker on that inside line, the only driver with a super speedway win so far this season, 4 wide for that third spot. Former teammate Carson Gum right behind him. Then Carson Gum's got his actual teammate this season, Marcus Sacchi, behind him in the 21 car. Boy, that whole outside line ran right up against the wall with Hamill, Collins, Lopez, and Friesen, and I'm hearing a car up ahead that these drivers will be approaching. That is the 8 of Matt Haas that they will momentarily be reeling in, and he could definitely play a factor into holding up one of these lines. Keith Batson now going to go for second place on Ryan Brommer. Looks like he'll get the position. Now the Dodgers will line up on the top side. Let's see if Batson can make a challenge down low. Nope, he gets kicked to the middle. Marcus Sacchi goes low. Even lower goes Ryan Butcher. And that top side stays lined up, so Rogers will hang on to the top spot. It looks like going into 3. He will abandon his teammate, go down to the bottom, block the inside line. He'll probably move back up coming off of turn 4 to try and pull Ryan Brommer along with him. But Brommer lost some momentum. Oh, hard into the wall! Derek Hamill and Austin LaPlante. That's going to be another caution, and that might have eliminated the fuel window and the fuel strategy that could have been coming up here in the closing stages of this race. Hard hit for rookie Derek Hamill into the outside wall. Austin LaPlante was collected up in it as well. And both of them, I think, got spun down to the inside of the racetrack as a result. I think Jose Mills and Jordan Lopez just hit pit road for regularly scheduled stops. So they might cycle around to first and second place if everybody else comes to pit road here. Some strategy being played by a couple of the Blue Oval Automotive Fords, and it might pay dividends for them. As Zach Rogers coasting on the back straightaway, waiting for the pace car to pick them up. And you can see the 2 sets of skid marks there coming off turn 4. I believe Hamill and LaPlante were the only 2 caught up in that wreck, which is quite amazing because they were in the middle of that lead pack. So Zach Rogers is the race leader. Under our 4th caution of the day, we will probably be restarting with about 10 laps to go. For now, let's go back and see what happened out of turn 4, up inside of the top 10. Here's a look at what happened. We saw Cole Baker up into the wall. That's not the first time we've seen him up into the wall. And all the contact starts between James Qualls and Derek Hamill. Qualls crowds the 31 up the track into LaPlante, who had absolutely nowhere to go. Another near miss for Carson Gum. And you can see right there, the 38 and the 98, they were already committed coming to pit road here for green flag pit stops. So I don't think they're going to get penalized for that because they made the indication. You see pit road is closed, but they were off the banking. So, I mean, what else are they going to do? Turn back up into traffic? LaPlante with a lot of front-end damage on his Ally Banking Chevrolet. Same for Derek Hamill, a lot of rear-end damage on his Lego Chevrolet, and that hard hit into the outside wall as well with LaPlante. But amazingly enough, it was only 2 cars that were involved in this one for our 4th caution of the day, setting us up for what could be as little as a 10-lap shootout. Well, nobody's out of the race after that wreck, because you will notice the 2 drivers that were involved in the wreck, Austin LaPlante and Derek Hamill, they're going to start 3rd and 4th for this restart, because when they came down pit road and pit road was open, they stayed out along with Lopez and Mills. And so it's going to be a bit of a stack up, I would think, up here at the front, because we know the 48's got that front end damage. He took a pretty hard lick into the outside wall, as did Derek Hamill. So you got to think they're going to be somewhat off the pace. So Zach Rogers, who was the first driver to hit pit road, restarts in 5th. You can bet he's going to want to get by the 48 and the 31 very quickly. His teammate Ryan Brommer lines up in 6th. Ryan Butcher in 7th. 8th place will be Marcus Sacchi. 9th, Vince Almriego, and Jesse Turner is going to complete the top 10. But what a strategy call there for Jordan Lopez and Jose Mills. They came to pit road just when the caution came out. They cycle around to 1st and 2nd, and we will be going back green with 10 laps to go. Now, if you're Jose Mills, obviously a struggling year. Only 1 victory at Bristol, was not inside the top 30 in the points for that win to count towards a playoff spot. Do you push your teammate Jordan Lopez to a win to get him to the next round of the playoffs, or do you go for it yourself? Maybe it'll be a moot point. Zach Rogers, Ryan Brommer have had 2 very strong Dodges during the course of this day. They might be able to get back up there to the front as well. As the green flag gets set to come back out, let's find out where the rest of our playoff contenders are going to be restarting this race. Michael Norman will be 14th, Carson Gum 15th, Carter Friesen in 16th, Cole Baker 22nd, Dylan Young in 25th, Matt McIntyre 27th, Ryan Acosta in 29th, Benjamin Miles 32nd, and Johnny Gardner in 33rd. That's of our playoff contenders that are still running. And I think we just got our answer. Jose Mills is not going to push Jordan Lopez to a win. He went for the lead himself. Now Austin LaPlante, who even after that hit looks like he's still up to speed. And here we go. We're going to start spreading out 3, 4 wide going into turn 3. Question is, will Jose Mills have a challenge to the bottom? Yes, he will. 4 wide. Vince Almriego down the inside. Butcher in the middle with Rogers. Mills way up top side as Almriego's going to take the race lead. Look at Jesse Turner there in the 42, and another wreck. Hard lick for Jordan Lopez. Derek Hamill is up and over, flipping towards the pit road area. Cautioned out again. And another playoff contender goes down, and ooh, this does not look good going into turn 1. Marcus Sacchi, Wyatt Quayle, and Jesse Turner banging doors. And another car flips very quickly. This time the 31 of Derek Hamill. Michael Norman, another playoff contender involved. There is Lopez, who went up into the air. All 4 tires left the racing surface. Mitchell Collins collected as well. Ooh, interesting there. Kyle Matthews running in the back of Ryan Brommer. Might be a little score to settle there. That's another playoff driver in the 9 car. I think Derek Hamill's already out of the race. And he is the 3rd car we have seen go up and over here tonight at Coca-Cola. Levi McIntyre and Trey Wright have already suffered barrel rolls. As Vince Almriego picks up the pace car. These drivers should be good to go on fuel, so I don't think anybody's going to pit. I think everybody's going to maintain their track position and stay out. Let's go back and see what happened off turn 4. Well, there have been high speeds here tonight, over 200 miles an hour, and it has brought about some of the hardest hits I think we've seen all season. Looks like the contact's going to start. James Qualls getting into Michael Norman. Norman then up into Derek Hamill, and watch the hit right there. Oh my goodness. Ryan Brommer involved as well, and look at the 31, up and over, and then almost gets back on all 4 wheels, up and over again, and then down towards the pit road entrance. Look out, flagman. Look at how hard the hit was into the inside wall. I mean, that car was still probably going over 150 miles per hour. And there you see Kyle Matthews and Mitchell Collins further down here. I don't think that was a part of the wreck, was it? Oh, it kind of was, yeah. You'll see right here, Mitchell Collins going to hit the 9 of Ryan Brommer. just there, it shoots him down in front of Kyle Matthews. And that might be why Kyle Matthews was upset with Ryan Brommer, because I think that he would have gotten through the wreck if Brommer had not slid down in front of Mitchell Collins. That might have been why we saw Kyle Matthews run to the back of the 9. And Michael Norman, see right there, he was on pit road. A lot of damage. Let's see just how significant a hit he took, because we were focused mostly on the 38 and the 31. You see right there, Michael's going to make a hole down under Ryan Brommer. He really didn't give James Qualls a lot of room, so I can't really fault Qualls on that one. There's Norman hard into the outside retaining wall. Comes back down the track, and I don't think anybody else hits him. That was pretty hard contact with the left rear, but he might actually be able to continue. Jordan Lopez certainly will not, and I don't know if Ryan Brommer will be able to either. So that is 3 more playoff contenders caught up in this one. And the drivers that have got to be smiling right now have got to be drivers like Matt McIntyre, Johnny Gardner, Benjamin Miles, who had early struggles, continued on, and these are all positions on track and points they are gaining on other playoff contenders getting caught up in these later wrecks. We're going to get a restart. Don't know how many laps there are going to be, but no doubt about it, we are going to have very few playoff contenders, I think, finish up inside the top 10, so those that do will get very good points days heading into Charlotte Roval next week. 5 laps to go will be our restart here, and I think if we get another caution, the race will end under yellow after that point. More drivers behind the wall. Derek Hamill will finish 33rd, Chaser Jordan Lopez in 32nd, and Mitchell Collins also out of the race, so 30 cars still on the racetrack on the lead lap as well. Talked about drivers that if they leave here with a top 10 of our playoff contenders, they will probably have a pretty good cushion over the 12th position in points, which is what everybody's trying to stay ahead of here in round 1. Heading into next week at Charlotte Roval, drivers that would fit that. Jesse Turner restarting in 4th, Carter Friesen in 6th, Zach Rogers in 9th. And Carson Gumbs just outside the top 10 as well. Dylan Young not too far back also in the 2 car. Green flag set to come back out. Backmarker Motorsports trying to get only their 2nd win of the season, which would be only their 2nd win at a super speedway this season as well. Vince Almriego gets us back underway with 5 laps remaining. Marcus Sacchi makes a move low. Carson Gum, Carter Friesen all moving low. William Brock moves to the bottom now as well. Can we finish these final 5 laps under green? These drivers are good to go on fuel, as chasers Jesse Turner and Carter Friesen for a brief moment through 1 and 2 work together. Now Friesen's going to try 3 wide for the lead, puts Marcus Sacchi in the middle. Almriego up to the top side, no help in the middle and inside lines. Almriego's going to have both lanes cleared, I think, going into 3, and as soon as I say that, both lines get momentum. It's going to be 3 wide for the lead going into turn 3. Carter Friesen will go to the point. William Brock looking for his first win of the season. He's going to try and challenge here down the front straightaway. James Qualls right there. Damaged car and all, but somehow that thing is aerodynamically sound, and he's got a shot to get up here and get this victory. Keith Batson, who was collected up in an incident earlier on, is up here as well in that 39 car, as Friesen got the lap led and will lead the field into turn 1. For these playoff drivers, they want to win to get into the next round of the playoffs. For everybody else, they just want to win. They could care less about the playoffs right now. They just want a trip to victory lane. Carter Friesen with Keith Batson up top. You got the teammates there from Team Chevy Autosport, the 21 and the 3 of Sacchi and Gum working together. Now Gum gets caught in the middle. Marcus Sacchi, though, gets to the left rear quarter panel. He'll challenge Friesen for the lead out of turn 4. Here comes Dylan Young in the 2. That car was off the pace, losing the draft a few moments ago. Now he's up here with a chance to win. 3 laps to go here at Coca-Cola. Got some other drivers up here. How about Corey Williams? He was caught up in the first wreck of the day. Now he's up in this lead pack. Jessica Shelton was caught up in a wreck a couple of times ago. She's up here, the pole sitter, trying to go coast to coast. Marcus Sacchi's going to forge ahead with the lead, trying to become the 3rd straight rookie to go to victory lane and the 4th rookie to win this season. So far, the last 3 races have been won by rookies. Cody Lamas back-to-back at Watkins Glen and Pocono. Casey Nanico Or I'm sorry, make that at Pocono Enrichment for Cody Lamas, and Casey Nanico last week at Auto Club. Here comes Shelton for the race lead. She's got the defending champion Chris Dollerton right behind her. He's trying to get his first win of the season as well. 2 laps to go. Can we finish under green? They're getting antsy in the middle of the pack. 3 wide, 4 wide. As long as they're careful coming off the corner, we might be able to finish this thing under green. Here comes Shelton with a run to the inside of Marcus Sachi. Carter Friesen and Cole Baker, couple playoff contenders right behind her. It's Chevy's on the bottom against the Chevy up top. Right now, Chevy is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the running order. Shelton's up to the top side, trying to get the draft from Marcus Sachi. Meanwhile, Carter Friesen down low. He's got Vince Almriego to help. Almriego was into the wall off turn 2 a couple laps ago. He's back up here in the hunt. His teammate, rookie Sebastian Kukelan, now up inside the top 10 there in that DC Solar Chevrolet. They just got to get here to the line for the white flag, and it looks like they will hit it. We will finish this race, no matter whether it's under green or under caution. Vince Almriego receives the white flag. Here's Dollerton on the bottom. Carson Gum, will he make it 3 wide into 1? Here he comes, looking for a spot into the round of 12. Almriego down to the bottom to block though. Carson Gum's got William Brock to offer drafting help. Keith Batson in the mix as well. Up into the wall goes Jose Mills. Everybody keeps it together though. Here comes Carson Gum, way down low. Can he get any draft? William Brock sticks it up the middle. Here comes Ryan Butcher on the bottom with help from Dylan Young. Who's going to have the advantage going into 3? Here comes Butcher. He's going to have the run to the inside of Carson Gum, who goes down to throw the block. Can't do it. Butcher trying to forge ahead. Here comes Dylan Young in the 2. Help from Cole Baker. Photo finish might be coming between the 70 and the 2. They're wrecking further back with Qualls. Here they come to the line. Butcher, Dylan Young, Baker, Ryan Butcher's going to pick up the victory here tonight at Coca-Cola Super Speedway. His second win of his career, first of season 2. What a battle there at the end. And it's back-to-back victories for Auto Junction Racing. His rookie teammate Casey Nanico won the last race of the regular season. Ryan Butcher wins the first race of the playoffs. And no playoff driver at this point is locked into the next round because no playoff driver won the race here tonight. James Qualls, it was Jesse Turner that Qualls got into. The two of them went down to pit road. I don't know if they necessarily wrecked or if they just had to slow it down to pit road speed. But they went down to the inside coming to the checkered flag. I don't think they wrecked though. But as a result, Jesse Turner going to finish all the way back in 27th. Qualls finished in 23rd. I think they both crossed the line on pit road. And what a comeback for Dylan Young. Dylan Young was way back there, off the pace. I don't know if he had lost the draft or what, but he's going to battle back for second. And right now, playoff contenders finished this race in second, third, and fourth with Carson Gum and Cole Baker there inside the top 5. But how ironic have these last 4 races been? Cody Lamas wins back-to-back races. First time that's been done in the Duracell Cup Series. And then we get back-to-back races where teammates go to victory lane. Casey Nanico last week and Ryan Butcher this week. There's been a crazy last few weeks here in the Duracell Cup Series. But we mentioned Dylan Young, Carson Gum, Cole Baker. With the hardships we've seen all sorts of playoff contenders have here tonight, no doubt these 3 are going to find themselves with a pretty good cushion heading to next week's race at Charlotte Roval. Keith Batson, a great run there for the 39 and 5th. How about Austin LaPlante? 2 wrecks I can think of that he was involved here in tonight. One of them was a hard lick into the turn 4 outside wall. Somehow he battled back for 6th. His teammate William Brock back there in 7th. Jessica Shelton, another comeback story. She was caught up, and I think it was the second caution of the day. Somehow she battled back for an 8th place finish after starting on the pole. Sebastian Kukelan, we mentioned him late in this race. He battled up in the top 10 for a 9th place run, and Marcus Sachi going to finish inside of the top 10 in 10th place. You got Chris Dollerton there in 11th. I thought he had a shot at the win there in the closing stages. Wyatt Quayle 12th. Zach Rogers will finish 13th. Adam Garcia 14th. Carter Friesen 15th. So 5 of our playoff contenders will finish inside of the top 15. A couple of other drivers that had some comeback finishes. Corey Williams in his Duracell Cup Series debut got involved in the very first wreck of the day. He soldiered on for 18th, Jack Mitchell for 19th. Both those cars were off the pace. And Michael Norman got caught up in a late caution. He was able to battle back for a 20th place finish. Now, 20th may not sound that great, but when you consider that that is the 6th highest finishing playoff contender in today's race, that definitely does mean a lot. Ryan Brommer finished behind him in 21st, Johnny Gardner in 22nd. Rest of your playoff contenders, where did they finish? Benjamin Miles was 24th. Jesse Turner, we saw he got forced to pit road there. Coming to the checkered, he finishes in 27th. Jordan Lopez, we should continue on with the drivers that finished. You got Matt McIntyre finishing the race, last car on the lead lap, in 30th. And then the drivers out of the race were the cars of Jordan Lopez, Cody Lamas, Levi McIntyre, and Trey Wright. Right now, it would be Lopez, Lamas, McIntyre, and Wright who would be in spots 13, 14, 15, and 16, which right now are your elimination spots when we get to Indianapolis. So all 4 of those drivers need to come back with good finishes next week at Charlotte Roval, or else they could find themselves in potential must-win situations heading into the home of the Yard of Bricks. But what a race here tonight from Coca-Cola Superspeedway. I know that we worked 4 cautions, or it might have been 5 cautions during the course of this race, but that's typical of super speedways. It was not a wreck fest like we had last year in our first playoff race at Chicagoland. So definitely I think this was a much better choice to have for our first race of the playoffs. But hope you guys enjoyed tonight's race. If you did, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, and become part of the crew today. Another first-time winner of the season, that is Ryan Butcher, getting his second Duracell Cup Series victory. We've shown you full finish results. These are your point stands as well as your updated playoff points heading into next week as we will head to the Charlotte Roval, which last year, remember, it came down between 2 playoff contenders, Jesse Turner, Dylan Poteet, and we know how that ended in the bus stop. But until then, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching Production NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.